Today on Transformer Tuesdays, we're going to look back at a trading card collectible called Transformers Action Cards from 1985 and do a cool little project with them. Check it out. Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. My name's Chris, and this is Northgarden Comics. So today is episode 2 of a new series that I just started a whole one episode ago, and it's called Transformer Tuesdays. And that's when I focus in on some aspect of the Transformers franchise, particularly as a collector, because Transformers for me is my first love in collecting. It's what made me a collector to begin with way back in the 80s when I was like 12, 13 years old. I started with the toys, then absolutely was addicted to the animated show and the animated movie, eventually got into the comic books, and still collecting comic books today. And I collected the figures for probably 20 years or so, from time of launch until when I stopped. And I thought it would be fun each Tuesday to pull out some aspect of that great franchise to talk about, whether that's the single issue comics or collected edition comics or the toys, or as the case is today, this trading card deck from 1985. This trading card series was called Transformers Action Cards. All the cards that I have say that they're Series 1, which I read was 192 cards. I don't have every card. I have a lot of them, but they say Series 1, and that kind of implies that there's a Series 2 or 3 or beyond, and I don't know if those actually ever came out. I was kind of surprised that everything I have was Series 1. I thought for sure maybe there'd be some kind of mixture in there, but maybe they never did those. So if you know more about those, let me know down in the comments. And as I was prepping for this video to show you these cards, I did think of a cool project that we're also going to tackle when we actually get to take a closer look at the cards. And I have all of you to thank for that, because if I didn't have a YouTube channel, I wouldn't be thinking about these things and creative ways to look at them, display them, remember them. So thank you in advance for the idea that you gave me to be able to use these cards and make them a more active part of my comic book room and my display here. So in just a minute, we're going to get to those cards. But before we do, let me pause and say, if you like content like this, Transformer related specifically, whether that's the toys, the comics, or any of the amazing ways that this franchise has been awesome to you, then please take a second and hit that subscribe button. And as you watch, if you see something you like, give it a thumbs up. And please let me know your thoughts and questions down below. Now that we got the housekeeping out of the way, let's get to these cards. And first, that's going to mean going to my storage unit to get the cards, because I had to dig them out first. Then I threw the camera on to go do that. So let's go ahead and, dare I say, roll out to go get those. And no, I never said I was above corniness. Check it out. All right, I'm here outside this unit where we have a storage unit, a small one. We got this largely due to COVID, when we had 2 college students that had to move home at the same time and unexpectedly, and then one of our other kids had to dance at home, and so we needed extra space in the garage. And so between all of that stuff, we got a storage unit, and I've put some of my Transformer stuff in here, and because I wasn't having any immediate plans for them, but now I've got a reason to go get one of those tubs out. So let's go ahead inside and take a look at what we've got. I know you don't have to be quiet in here, but every time I come in here, it just feels like a quiet that shouldn't be disturbed. And then coming around that corner, I don't know, I've just watched too many zombie movies and TV shows not to have some hesitation, because this seems like the perfect place to store zombies if you needed to. A fenced-in storage facility. I don't know if anybody watched The Walking Dead, the episode where the wolves or somebody, where they booby-trapped a semi-trailer with zombies. So I always tell my kids if they have to come here, I was like, don't disturb the zombies. All right, I've had success. This is the tub I was looking for, very aptly named Miscellaneous. I have 3 of these large tubs. It's one of these like Sterilite ones that has rollers on it. But I've got one for Autobot, one for Decepticons, and one for Miscellaneous. And the thing that we're going for is in this tub here,
There's a variety of things and Ziploc bags, and everything is super sooty. But some things are protected inside those bags. So let's get this home and we'll get to the specific things that we're looking for. Okay, we're back home and in the garage now. We're gonna go ahead and get this tub opened up. Just move this out of the way so we can find what we're looking for. Again, this is my miscellaneous tub, so there's kind of odds and ends of things in here. There are some toys. The reason it's so disheveled to begin with was because, you know, when we had the fire, it was just do what you can to pack it up. It was the whole house we had to pack up and either throw in a dumpster or make decisions about, like, you know, throwing it away, keeping it, which involved cleaning it. And this was something that was just overwhelming. So they all went into tubs, and here they have remained for almost 17 years now. So do have some things that were towards the end of my collecting. Beast Wars Transformers. Here's Inferno, never opened. And some of these things I'll show in future videos. The purpose right now, we want to find one particular thing. I did notice, and I'm excited to see them, down there in the bottom. I don't know how many I'll have, but I remember running out of space, and there are those of you who keep these toys in box. There are those of you who take them out and discard the box. I've seen people who save the boxes for a while, but those boxes take up a lot of space very quickly. And there was a point in my collecting where I would cut off the front of the box and then get the tech spec from the back and any kind of cutout piece from the back, and then I could lay everything flat. It wasn't ideal. I would have rather preferred to keep the boxes in their entirety, but like I said, it just was a forced decision where space, you just don't have it anymore. And then also with the house fire, that complicated matters as well and made a lot of things unsalvageable. But again, here today, here's one of these city bags. This is what we're after. These action cards from the 1980s. So I'm going to get these out. We'll take them inside, and then we'll take a closer look at these cards. All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to look at the cards here. Here's my stack of cards again. And I do have an update. I went online and checked as I was kind of rearranging the camera here, and it does look like that Series 1, the series that I have, was the only series of cards that was ever produced. They never did 2 or 3 or any of the other things they planned for one reason or another. So it's a 192 card deck in total to have all the Transformers action cards. And what we're gonna do is, instead of just them being wrapped in a rubber band again in a storage tub, I went out and I just got this basic 1/2-inch binder from Target, and it's got like a pocket in the front here, so I can put some color printout or whatever, something that's Transformers related there. I might even be able to do one on the side along the binding here if that'll let me slip in. Seems like it will. And then I can put this on my shelf and have a much more convenient and aesthetically pleasing presentation than, like I said, just having these with a rubber band around them sitting somewhere, and much more liable to get damaged. And I'm pretty impressed with how well they've held up over the years. I didn't do anything special to them since 1985. I got them in order, but never put them anything when I was a kid, which is, I guess, a little bit surprising, but I guess not terribly surprising either. More surprising that I was a collector at 12 and 13 than anything else, I suppose. So got these, and then I also got these trading card binder pages. Just got these at Office Supply, Office Depot there, and they came like 10 pages with 9 slots per page, so 90 per pack, and I will just display them in this binder. So what I'm gonna do, I think, is I will put one sheet together, and then I'll hold up the whole sheet for you to see, and then we'll move to the next one, so that way you don't have to sit there and watch me put every individual card in. So be back with page 1 in just a moment. All right, here's page 1, and I do like that these pages are clear all the way through, because there is information, all the tech spec information and descriptions are on the back. And along with, you can see up here, Series 1, the card number, and then obviously the character's name, their function, the quote, and then the description there. And then at the bottom, you can see the tech specs. So I'm glad to have that. I did see, it may have been in Target, and maybe it was designed for like Pokemon cards or something, but they had a more special looking binder with a rubber band, like an elastic band that would hold it shut, and you could put your cards in there, and it had kind of like a black felt center to it. But the problem there is you can only see one side of the cards at a time then, and I don't want to have to take them out to read them. So this way, with the clear ones, I'll be able to see the front and then flip it over and see the back. And I love that box art that they've got. I do have some duplicates. You can see I've got 2 grapples, same color scheme, and then 2 Perceptors. I may double those up. We'll see. I'm not really concerned with running out of the binder pages either. So there's page 1. Be back with page 2. All right, here we go with page 2. Now here's some more variants, and these are cool because they're not true duplicates. You can see 2 Huffers, one on an orange card and one on a blue background, and then Brawn, blue, and then orange. And then you got, these are going through some of the mini cars right now, Power Glide. And then I kind of oriented them so that way all of the back information reads vertically. And now we'll just kind of move through these one page at a time. All right, next up, continuing with those mini cars there with Sea Spray, got a couple Beachcombers. I only have 2 of the Dinobots apparently. And then Jetfire, and then tripling up on Hound. All right, next page, got a couple Hoists. Again, a variant blue background and then orange background. And then you'll see, starting with this card here, and this is the first one. This is card number 42. The next several, let's see, I'm kind of looking at an online source at the same time. It's like a TF wiki. And it says the cards 42 to 81 represent still frames from More Than Meets the Eye Part 1. And then cards 82 to 92, and then 94 and 95 are from More Than Meets the Eye Part 2. And then there's one random card, there's a checklist, and then, you know, back and forth. Then you go to some Decepticon tech specs, and then More Than Meets the Eye Part 3. So all of the still frames come from that opening, kind of like the pilot or the trilogy, if you will, that started off the whole animated series. All right, next page, we'll continue to work here. Now, this is the top of the page, so they go in order 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 here. And I think, is this Hound getting repaired after he and Cliffjumper, well, Cliffjumper specifically, took the shot at Megatron, and then he apologized to Hound. He's like, oh, I never should have done that. And then Hound replied back, he goes, no, you just shouldn't have missed. That'd be cool to have those stills. But continue working our way through here. More Than Meets the Eye Part 1. All right. Here's that very famous battle between Optimus Prime and Megatron atop the dam. But again, clearly some cards missing there. You don't have them with their kind of energy-based weapons fighting. And then we actually, based on the card numbering, we actually start into More Than Meets the Eye Part 2 with these as well. Some more stills there, a couple more duplicates, and then we get into the cards. Now we're talking with Skywarp here. I'm at card 101, but the Decepticon tech specs started in card 97. And you can see a couple more variants there with Skywarp with the blue and then the orange background, Ravage and Laserbeak. Continuing with the Decepticon tech specs. Nice to have both Astrotrain and Blitzwing. And then all 3 Insecticons. But then the Constructicons, I'm incomplete. I've got Devastator and then 3 of the Constructicons, but I'm missing the other 3 tech specs.
Now for the remainder of the cards, all the way up to the end of the series, they are just going to be stills from various episodes. So this goes, More Than Meets the Eye Part 2 and Part 3. And then there's actually some other episodes that get represented as well in some of the other stills, and I'll mention those as we go. Next sheet. Again, going right to left for lower number to higher number or in order of events, because that's going to be top to bottom when it's in the binder. And this is from More Than Meets the Eye Part 3. And another duplicate there of Megatron in his alt mode. All right, more stills here, and actually had a third of that Megatron in gun mode there, and then Sky Warp firing him. There may be a typo here. Someone out there watching, let me know what was the name of the Dinobots first episode. I know I can look it up, and if I do, I'll put it across the bottom of the screen there. But the reference I'm using says this is from More Than Meets the Eye Part 3 based on the numbers of the cards, but they weren't introduced in that opening trilogy. Here's the next one. And it could just be that the numbers are wrong, because it does say that cards 150 to 161 are supposed to be from War of the Dinobots. So it could just be that the numbers, the way they've listed them, are not accurate in terms of, where one episode stills and another one start. So next one. And some of the other episodes that are represented that it says are Heavy Metal War and A Plague of Insecticons. But I'll be honest, I don't remember the details of each show well enough to match the individual stills here with the title. At least not just off the top of my head. I'd have to do some looking up. Almost done here. There's some more stills. Obviously some more duplicates there. And then the last page. Not complete, I didn't have enough to fill it up, but I go up to, of 192 cards, my highest card is card number 190. So missing the last two, my lowest card was card 8, and so obviously 7 before that I'm missing, and then a handful in between. But you can only, it was a random assortment, so obviously there were many packs that I didn't get. All right, so here's the binder. I don't have a cover for it yet, but now that everything's in the binder, you can see now I've got a nice way to be able to flip through these. And, I don't know that I'll get the rest of them. Honestly, most likely I will never get the rest of the cards that I'm missing, but it's definitely something I will keep my eye out for if I ever come across them randomly at a garage sale or at maybe even a local comic shop or something that might have these. If I could get them for cheap, that might be a fun little collection to complete. But this was fun to be able to pull these out, look back through these, and now get them in a nice binder that I can stick right up here on the shelf and pull out anytime I want. All right, that's going to do it for me, and that's going to wrap up this episode of Transformer Tuesdays, looking back at the 1985 trading card series, Transformers Action Cards. I did go ahead and find something to put in the front cover there. This is just, it's called a tech spec manual. I think it may have come with like a Autobot base that I did a mail-in or a mail-away offer for back in the 80s, so I stuck that in there. And then as far as the spine goes, I did this. This is gonna mean nothing to anybody but me, but this is actually, this was on a full-size piece of paper, just this whole strip of jazz. And for those of you not old enough to remember, that was done on a dot matrix printer. So probably the first computer that I had in my house back in the 80s, I went and did this jazz. Sorry, I don't know if I can get it to focus on that well, but I did jazz in dot matrix and put a little boom box next to him, real 80s there, and then just printed it out in the dot matrix printer. So thought that would be fun to throw in there, and that will definitely be a one of a kind. But how about you? Did you collect these action cards when you were a kid, or have you more recently been trying to put together this 192 card set? Let me know down in the comments below. Now, if you're not quite ready for the YouTube fun to stop, I have hand-selected a couple videos here for you to check out. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.